So today, you're probably wondering why we're in this place. This is actually just to the left of where we normally film, but I thought we'd do something a little different today. So I watch a theater YouTuber called Catherine Steele. She's adorable. I love her. She's California-based. She recently did this video called Roll Call, which is based off Broadway.com's resume game, Roll Call, where they'll get Broadway stars, they'll put up parts from their resume on the wall, and then ask questions, and you have to answer with one of the parts, or more, at the end of the question. So they ask you a question, you have to answer with a part. Pretty simple. This is going to be a thumbnail. I can feel it. So I thought, why don't I break out my resume and write down all the things I've done and play this game, because Broadway.com is not going to ask me to do this now. So let's play the game. Roll I totally nailed. Roll I totally nailed. This is hard because I'm a perfectionist and I feel like I didn't 100% get all of these, but I'm gonna say maybe the Ensemble in Les Miserables. If you're gonna be in the ensemble of a show, this is the show to do it. I feel like I nailed it because I came in already knowing all of the vocal parts to the ensemble parts, because we were working off of, they assigned us a specific cast album to listen to when we were learning the music, and I was the only person in the cast who didn't read sheet music. I actually just had learned all of the vocal parts by ear from listening to the full symphonic recording, which is the only recording. It's the best recording. Don't at me. Because it was the only recording with a full show. Like, all of the music, all of the little like talk singing operetta bits were all on this album, and that's what we were instructed to listen to. And I'd been listening to only that since I was 12 years old. So I nailed this. Also, one day both our Eponine and our Fontaine were out, and I sang those parts because they weren't there, so I just kind of did like a singing stand-in kind of deal. So I knew everyone's parts, and yeah, so I feel like I nailed it. I could have jumped in at any moment. Want to say Annie in ASL, which was my horror short film that I shot in 2017. I don't know where it is right now. It is touring all over the country for horror festivals, but she was a demon disguised as a 12-year-old girl, and she got to eat body parts. And I basically just lured a creepy dude to his death, and that made me feel like quite the badass, and it was me and a bunch of other lovely ladies just tearing apart a pervert. It was real great. I don't... Reno Sweeney? Because that rehearsal experience put me and everybody else through the ringer. It was just a weird time in all of our lives. So it did a lot for my mental state. Not necessarily good, but I was definitely in a funk after it. And so it was a little bit, this was rough. This was kind of rough. And I have a feeling this is going to come up a lot throughout this game. Role that was the most fun. Most fun? I mean, most were fun. Okay, so this is the part I was saying that I'd forgotten I'd done. So my first play, actually, was for our church. And I actually did not know the title of this play. I just got asked, do you want to play an angel in the Christmas play this year? And it wasn't like a nativity play like normal churches do. We did the best, worst Christmas play ever, and I got to play like one of the kids in the play. It was a play within a play. My mom played the director, I believe, and there was this scene. I was so young that everything we did was so out of context, I didn't realize it was part of like a larger thing. But there's a scene in the play where there's a fire in the church where they're rehearsing. So they got sound effects and like guys to play firemen, and me and my friend Haley at the time, we were both like 7 or 8 years old, and our job during this fire scene was to run to like the front of the church, put our hands on our faces and scream in each other's faces, and then we'd get picked up by firefighters and like run to the back of the theater. It was the funnest thing I ever got to do. I had no context for what we were doing, but it was the coolest thing I got to do in front of people. It's the commercial singers from It's a Wonderful Life, the radio play, and I'm gonna have to say Reno Sweeney because even though these aren't, her clothes aren't something I'd wear normally, they were pretty nice. And a girl said I looked hot in them, and that is worth more than any compliment a guy has ever given me. And then the commercial singer dress I got to wear for It's a Wonderful Life was like made for me. It was originally like a floor-length red ball gown with like lace and stuff on it, and they cut it and made it shorter, and it was like this 1940s red satin like dress, and it was gorgeous. I loved it. I wanted my sister to steal it after I graduated. Loved it, loved it. Beautiful, beautiful costumes. So there's 3 of these. So the first is Timoon from Once on This Island, because Timoon is obviously, she's an island dweller, which means she would be a person of color normally. Obviously I am not a person of color. I'm white, let's just say that. So as I enjoyed playing her, she was my first lead. I'm not of an island descent, so I would be wrong for her. The second, similar problem, it's Lorraine in All Shook Up, and she's supposed to be played by a character of color, and it's an actual plot point, so we had to almost rewrite the script in order to make this work. But there was a lot of like mixing and matching of like races in that show, because I was supposed to be black, my love interest was supposed to be white, but instead I was white and my love interest was Asian. So it was confusing. It was a little weird. Definitely won't get cast as her ever again. And then I'd say Reno Sweeney I was wrong for. She is not my casting type. I actually originally auditioned for Hope Harcourt. That was the part I wanted because 1, Laura Osnes played her on Broadway and I really liked Laura Osnes, and 2, because she was an ingenue who sings in like the soprano-y part of her voice, and that's what I was used to being typecast as. It was always the songs I was assigned to in voice class. Like this was the type I was told I would play. Another part of Reno Sweeney is she's sexy, not sexy, and she is a hardcore tap dancer, which I am also not. I was better than some, but not good, and it just wasn't that. Doing the Anything Goes musical number was probably like my least favorite part of doing that show because I could not tap dance, and it just was mortifying to me to do every single night. So yeah, I said she's gonna keep coming up. She was a pretty big part on my resume. The role I wish more people had seen. So I'd say Natalie in Next to Normal, because she's probably my favorite on my resume. I would do this role again in a heartbeat. I love doing Next to Normal. It was so great. It felt like my first serious musical. Like it was my first, I felt like I was doing real dramatic acting, and it was outside of my school, it was outside of our theater company, and I wanted like my school classmates to see it. My drama teacher did see it. A couple of my friends came to see me, but I wish like more of the people I had mingled with every day who didn't quite get what I did outside of school had gone to see Next to Normal, because I wanted to be like, it's this, I want to do this kind of like really deep, dramatic, heart-wrenching art. So yeah, Natalie was one I wish more people had seen, and if I do it again, I will spam everybody to come see me. Role that showed my diva side. Both shows I did in high school, so where are you? So Reno, and the commercial singer. So the commercial singer, in earlier renditions of her, we made her just a straight up bitch the entire show. Later on, instead, we had her, it was like she was mad at her boyfriend or whatever, and then at intermission, we had like this weird little proposal thing that everybody would miss because it would happen so quickly because we were background characters. This was supposed to be like weird subplots happening in the background because it was like a staged reading. It wasn't like a show, but it was still like a period-based stage reading. It was really interesting. But I got to behave like a bitch the whole time. It was kind of nice not having to be pretty and happy all the time, and then we changed it so the second half I was like really happy. But yeah, so I got to be a little bit of a diva with her. And then Reno, because of the behind the scenes stuff, we were all not at our best. I definitely, towards the end of the road, pulled a little bit of a diva move at one point because we were like a week out from show. So many things were going wrong and everybody was constantly telling me where I needed to be. And I remember I just snapped at somebody once because he was like, we have to go rehearse our dance now. And I said, yeah. I was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Who are they gonna get at this short notice? No, I said, what are they gonna do, fire me? And this is high school, so no one was hired or fired. And he's like, whoa, and I'm like, think about it though. Who are we gonna get this close to show? I don't understand. Yeah, so there was we had some diva moments backstage. On stage, it was kind of nice because I got to be an actual diva kind of character. And also it was the show I got my own dressing room, which was really a closet. I don't know why they gave me my own dressing room because it was kind of out of nowhere. I tell myself it's because the costumes I had to wear required me to wear less underwear, so they needed me to change separate from everybody else. But I have another weird conspiracy theory too that if you know me, you'll know what it is. Role that kicked my ass. I'd say so Annie and ASO, Reno Sweeney, and I'll say Gracie Shin because it was my first part like I'd ever done like a show in. So Annie from ASL was because our shoot day was a weekend in September from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So these were just straight night shoots the whole time. So my sleeping schedule and my eating schedule were off because we'd have lunch like in the middle of the night. And I was covered in fake blood and I had fake teeth in, and after a while they would start to hurt. And I think the first night we all had to obviously take showers to get the fake blood off of us. We shot and slept in the same house. So we were like, everything was in this one house. And that day the water heater went out, so all of us had to take cold showers to get all the blood off. So that was fun. So I'd say that kicked my ass, like exhaustion-wise. Reno Sweeney kicked my ass because of mental health problems, and after our first tap rehearsal, I remember waking up the next morning feeling like I got hit by a bus. I could not move. Every muscle was used. It was bad. I remember I sat on the couch all day and watched Jack starring Robin Williams and like cried. It was a day. It kicked my ass. And then Gracie Shin because I was 8 years old. This was my first like major show. So we were doing like really late rehearsal nights. Tech week was really hard for me when I was 8 years old because, you know, you're a little kid, you're not used to being up this late and all that stuff. So I'd say that definitely kicked my ass. Taught me some professionalism very, very young. Role I'm recognized for the most. Not famous, but Reno Sweeney, I get recognized in my hometown a lot. Like when they make the connection, pretty much a lot of people in town saw that show, and even people who didn't know me at school and teachers I never had like would approach me and talk to me because they recognized me from the show. And then like we'd go to the bank in town and the woman would recognize me from Anything Goes. So this is definitely one. And then the second one is, where is she? is Natalie from Next to Normal, because people in my state area came to see that show, and someone who was my theater professor last semester at college actually was on the board for the theater company I did that show for, so she recognized me from that. And somebody on Tumblr who follows me had gone to see me as well and recognized me, and then I was in driving school and somebody recognized me, but only after I'd been in class with them a few weeks, and they texted me like, oh, I didn't realize this, it's you, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you're Natalie from Next to Normal. So yeah, I was getting recognized all over the state for that. Okay, that was roll call. We definitely didn't get through all of them, but they just didn't fall under certain categories, so just if you can't read them. This is the Ensemble and Kiss Me Kate. This is I did when I was 12. This is Miss Shrivel from a comedic play called Be My Ghost, which I did in middle school. I played an old lady, and I was dead for 90% of the show. Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka Jr. Got to be a little brat. I was a little brat when I was 13. Munchkin No. 1 and Others from The Wiz, which was actually super, super fun. And Christine from a student film called The Hope Candle, and a ghost from another student film called Side Effects, which are actually, I think, on my YouTube channel, so you can probably still find those. But yeah. So that was my roll call. You guys want to answer those questions with your rolls down in the comments, please do. Also, follow me on Instagram. That's where all of the updates about videos and changes, or if there is a video or isn't a video, or whatever's going on. Follow me on Instagram. That's where all my posting happens. My Tumblr, my Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter, but go follow anyway. It's all down in the link below. And I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next Friday.